Rallying. In my opinion, the second most dangerous form of motorsports, only beaten by top fuel dragsters. Unlike circuit racing, there is almost no barriers, no runoff areas. The stage is aligned with trees, ditches, snowbanks, rocks and all manner of very solid objects, so even a slight misjudgment can lead to a massive accident. Stages can vary from snowy and icy roads to the dusty and loose gravel, or the scarily fast tarmac mountain roads. And to survive some of the trickiest roads on the planet, the cars themselves have to be something special. This particular example with 500 horsepower and 600 feet of torque, all coming from a 2-litre engine. However, there was a time when the cars were even more nuts than this.
The Audi Quattro Evolution is probably regarded as the most iconic car from Group B. It was introduced at the end of the 1985 season as an update to the Audi Sport Quattro. The Evolution model produced an officially quoted figure of 470 bhps. However, thanks to the turbochargers, with the aim of keeping the turbo spinning at high revs, the actual power figure was in excess of 500 bhp. This helped it to achieve a mind-blowing time of 0-60 time of 3.1 seconds, and with thanks to four-wheel drive, the Audi was unbeatable, which was verified when it won the 1985 San Remo Rally. Sadly, this was the last car produced by Audi for Group B, with the team pulling out of the sport in 1986. 23 years after the cancellation of Group B, the Sport Quattro Evolution is still used in hill climbs today, and is widely regarded as the most powerful and most iconic rally car ever produced.
When it comes to hot hatches, normally manufacturers add 50 odd horsepower and with that a bit more torque steer, but not Renault. With a 5, they took a normal hatchback, moved the engine from the front to the middle, moved the power to the rear and added a huge turbo. The result was a 350 horsepower rocket with a short wheelbase to give it good handling. However, they made the mistake of keeping it two-wheel drive, meaning that on the loose gravel it struggled against the likes of the Audi. When Peugeot's tried a similar trick with the 205, they made it four-wheel drive. The 440 horsepower 205 with its lightweight design and short wheelbase was ideal for rallying and went on to be the most successful car at the end of the Group B era, winning both the 1985 and 1986 seasons against the likes of the Audi and Lancia.
The Lancia Oh was the first car purely built to race in Group B. The car made its competition debut at the 1982 Rally Costa Smeralda in Italy. 2 cars were entered, but both retired due to gearbox issues. The 1982 season wasn't the greatest year, with a new car with repeated retirements for the Oh all due to the gearbox. The new car, however, did manage to achieve several wins, including its first win at the Pace Rally in the UK. The 1983 season was considerably more successful for the Oh, with Lancia taking the 1983 World Rally Championship. It had a 2.1 litre engine and produced about 300 brake horsepower. This was the only rear-wheel drive car to rival and beat the mighty Audi Quattro. However, following the Quattro's updated Evolution model, the Lancia was beginning to show its age, and eventually the car was dropped from Group B.
Following success with the likes of the Mark II Escort, it's no surprise that Ford were also to have a go with a purpose-built Group B car, the RS200. It had a short wheelbase, four-wheel drive system and was all very high-tech. So it comes as a surprise to learn that the car was never really that competitive. Third place in the Swedish Rally in 1986 was the highest position it would ever obtain. While the car was said to be one of the best balanced, its notorious low-end turbo lag and relatively poor power-to-weight ratio meant the car was very difficult to drive. The Ford was also a latecomer to Group B, and if they had had time to develop it properly, chances are it could have become a serious contender. After all, in the early 90s it did become a fairly successful rallycross car. While not being one of the quickest Group B cars, I have to say it's probably the best looking. It would be impossible to talk about Group B without talking about the Delta S4. Sadly, the S4 doesn't feature on Forza, so this is the best we can do. Having figured the rear-wheel drive Oh couldn't keep up with the Quattro, Lancia went back to the drawing board and created the Delta S4, With few restrictions in Group B, the S4 was both supercharged and turbocharged, giving the car the advantages of both and removing the problem of turbo lag. The car that took part in the 1986 season was said to have produced over 560 horsepower, and when Lancia's engineers were allowed to go nuts in testing the turbos, they could reportedly get it to over 1,000. And that's not even the most impressive stat about this car. It's claimed that the car could get from 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds on gravel. Modern supercars on tarmac seriously struggle to even get near that. It is sad then that the Delta S4 is remembered as one of the greatest rally cars never to have won the championship. Following a series of crashes in which drivers, co-drivers and spectators were killed or seriously injured, it was Henry Torvenen's fatal crash driving an S4 that was to be the final straw, with Group B being cancelled immediately for the 1987 season and with Audi and Ford pulling out straight away. I understand why Group B was stopped. The cars had become dangerously fast, and while exciting to watch, they were just too fast and too hard to drive for the roads they were raced on. This, however, doesn't change the fact that these cars are by far the greatest rally machines. While modern rally cars are good, there is nothing like the sight of a Quattro blasting through a forest flat out.